What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Wide Receiver Academy Film Room. Today, we're breaking down Jordan Addison. Wide Receiver Nation, let's ride.
All right, here we go. Today, we're talking Jordan Addison, the former University of Pittsburgh wide receiver, now at USC. Biletnikoff winner last year, had a great season coming from Pittsburgh. Pitt had a great season in general. A lot of big wins, probably one of the better seasons in recent memory. Had a really high draft pick in Kenny Pickett. Another guy that was in the conversation for some pretty big end of season awards. Including the Heisman Trophy, an unbelievable season. But let's talk a little bit about Jordan Addison. He was a consensus All-American last year. Like I mentioned, he was a Biletnikoff Award winner, the best wide receiver in the country. According to that award, he had 100 catches, close to 1,600 yards, 17 touchdowns, which really stuck out. Obviously, one of the big keys to Pitt's success last year. But some of his stat lines, he had 8 100-yard games, including one 200-yard game against Virginia. He had 3 games in which he scored 3 or more touchdowns. One of those games, again, against Virginia, had 4 touchdowns. Obviously, Virginia in that game just couldn't cover him at all, over 200 yards and 4 touchdowns, close to 15 catches that game. He's the leader of the team in receptions and yards and touchdowns the past 2 years. As a true freshman in 2020, he had 60 catches, over 600 yards, a couple touchdowns as a true freshman, and then obviously this past season in 2021. Coming out of Maryland, Frederick, Maryland, he was a 3-star recruit, so he wasn't too heavily recruited. Looked on, this is according to his Rivals page. I think the knock on him coming out was just maybe his size. He wasn't as developed at that point, but he is a little undersized. He's probably a little bit under 6 foot, maybe 190 pounds if I had to guess, just off the top of my head. But it doesn't really matter. When you can separate, when you can use your speed, when you could catch the ball and elude defenders, the size really doesn't matter, in football, in my opinion. There's a lot of smaller guys who do really, really well. Antonio Brown's one guy who's undersized. Tyreek Hill, another undersized guy. There's a lot of guys making plays in the NFL right now who were labeled undersized as a wide receiver. So he's probably going to fit into that category. But nonetheless, 2023 draft class coming out, he's going to be ranked up there pretty high. We did another review or another film breakdown with Jackson Smith and Jigba from Ohio State. Got another one coming up with Kayshon Boutte from LSU. Jordan Addison's right in that mix with those 3 guys, as I would say, are probably going to be the look to be the tops of that 2023 draft. So let's get into it here. We got Jordan Addison against Clemson. I always like breaking down these guys against better teams. Clemson's one of the better teams in the ACC. They're going to be pretty good here in 2022 as well. So I like to see these guys making plays against better competition, and we're going to see Jordan Addison obviously in different colors this year, so I'm excited to see some of the stuff he does and see how it translates from Pitt's offense over to what USC does. So here we go. Little screen. This is one of the first plays of the game. One thing that I do really like that Jordan Addison does is he is very elusive. He's a strong runner on his feet. I know we mentioned his size. He's not the easiest to get down. He's very fast twitch. He could shed tackles. He could get upfield. He's always looking to catch the ball and go score. I mean, he's a game breaker. He's one of those types of guys that he makes one guy miss and he could be in the end zone a couple seconds later. He does have a lot of good speed. A little bit quicker than JSN. Whenever we broke him down, we mentioned his top end speed maybe lacking a little. I do think Addison has that top end speed. Kid can fly. So. Just a screen, like I said, I want to show his elusiveness here, just trying to get some yards. It's literally him and one other guy on 5 Clemson guys. So does a good job just getting some positive yards. On to the next play. So it's coming into motion here. Starts at a 2-by-2 formation. Coming over to a 3-by-1. We got trips to the boundary side to the boundary side of the field here. Looks just like cover 3. Some people call this cover 3 robber. We could talk about this real quick. So we got our normal cover 3, which we talked about before. We got this guy in his third. Got this guy in his third. This safety is going to split the difference here. Now, this safety right here, this is why they'll call it a robber. He's just coming down and he's just going to kind of fill in this hole here. And he becomes kind of the zone defender, looking for maybe a dig route, a crossing route, just looking to essentially rob one of the routes across the middle of the field here. You'll see Clemson plays a good bit of this. Kind of I don't want to call it a 4 verticals, but they are trying to get some pressure down the seams here on that safety, right in between the corner and the safety. One thing that I think Addison could do here to help Kenny Pickett here, and you see Kenny Pickett's under duress a little bit, but one thing I'd like to see him do here is just understand the down and distance, number 1. So it's 3rd down, about 10 yards to go here, and there's a little window right in here. So you see Addison right here. There's 2 different windows that he could work into. Okay, there's one right here, which I think Kenny Pickett's looking for him to do. He's looking for him to bend it across there right into the seam. The other thing that he could do here is just kind of gear it down right into here, into this window right here. Okay, there's enough space there that Kenny Pickett could make that throw. And he's looking for Addison. He's looking for him down the seam. And you got to think, it's only 10 yards to go, so we got to get to this point here. Obviously, the comeback over here, all right, is going to be clouded by this guy. So that's tough for Pickett to see. This throw over here is going to be a really tough throw. It's a whole way across from the other hash. I do think Kenny Pickett could make that throw. But like I mentioned, he's looking for Addison. He does have enough time. So I think him having a little bit more urgency to kind of just find one of these windows instead of just drifting upfield to be covered by these 2 guys over the top in the cover 3. I think him just being a little bit more decisive. And like I said, if he could just get right to these sticks and kind of find some space behind this overhang backer here, number 10, I think he has a 1st down pretty easily. Pickett ends up getting sacked. Punt team comes onto the field. Let's see where his eyes go. Yeah, he is. He's looking right for him. The crosser isn't there, but I do think he's looking for that window, and they can't get on the same page. All right, here we go. Pitt got a 2-by-2 formation. Ball's on right center. Whenever I mention center, left hash, right hash, that's just where the ball is positioned on the field. So center, if you're following the cursor here, center is obviously right in the middle of the hashes. Right center is in between the center and the right hash. Left center is opposite of that. And then obviously you got your left hash and right hash. So right center here, 2-by-2 formation. I think Pitt is thinking cover 2 here. Clemson's going to roll into kind of a cover 3 look. They're almost playing like a bracket up top. The corner's really not getting into a deep third here. I do believe it's cover 3, though. Pitt's going to try to run a smash concept here. So just to talk about the route combination, they run something down here called a hole is the concept. So Addison's going to run his corner. This guy on the outside is going to kind of just sit in right here off of his stem where he breaks his route. Down here, they're trying to get a high-low on the corner. Again, assuming it was cover 2 with their smash. They got a hitch, and they got a corner over top of that. And again, in cover 2, they're trying to get into these voids. So they got one on the outside here, got one on the outside here. Clemson drops into a cover 3, and that's kind of where they get stuck. Ball should probably hit down here in the hole. Kenny's not looking that way, though. He's looking up top. One thing Addison could probably do better, since obviously we're talking about what Addison does really well, is one thing he he doesn't do well here is he gets collision. He doesn't really get to his depth on the route. Like this corner route is taking place at around 5 or 6 yards here, when you probably want it closer to 10 to 12 down the field. So one thing I'd like to see him do just a little bit better here is collision this guy. Okay, and one way he could do that, I don't really know if he sees him coming here, but one way he could do that is kind of just lean his shoulder just a little bit more. If you ever watch like someone coming off the edge, how they dip and don't really give any space for the defender to hit. He's trying to do it here. The defender does a good job of getting his hands on him. But what I'd like to see him do a little bit better here is try to avoid this collision just a little bit more. Push to the depth that he wants to get to, probably closer to 10 to 12 yards, and then break off his corner here. Could do a little bit more of a better job of stressing this guy here. Okay, and again, the play is kind of set up for failure from the beginning just based on what coverage they're running here. Obviously, this is a really long throw here to the hitch the whole way across the field. His really only real option here is down here on this hole concept, right into the hole shot. I think that's number 11 right here. Okay, on to the next play. Again, it's just talking about being able to avoid the collision. Kenny does work the whole way back to that hitch there. It's a long throw. Gets a couple yards. It's third down anyway. Guys does a really nice job, number 4 there, trying to get that first down, but ultimately they're bringing the punt team out. All right, here we go. So we got 2-by-2 formation. Okay, we got Addison down here at the bottom. Ball's on the left middle. Addison down here to the bottom of the field. We got a tight end in here. We got 2 receivers up to the top. So 2-by-2 formation. Clemson gets into this weird kind of defense here. It's almost like their version of a Tampa 2. And we talked about Tampa 2 before. We have our safety is playing this half of the field. This safety got this half of the field. We got this corner and this corner both going to play to the flats here. And typically they'll have a linebacker that sprints out to the middle of the field. But here, Clemson just puts a guy into the middle of the field. Okay, so he's getting deep here. So we have a lot of room underneath. Okay, so Clemson's trying not to get beat over the top here. So typically in this type of formation here, you're going to see some windows working into this area, in this area, underneath the safeties that are deep here. Okay, and all Pitt's going to run here is kind of a curl flat combination. So let's talk about the route combination here, and you'll see Addison down at the bottom. They're going to have the running back is going to flare out down to the flat, and the goal is to try to attract this corner's attention. Addison is going to run the curl in behind. Tight end's going to be right over top of the ball running a curl, and then they have the same type of combinations here, flat, with that tight end up top. So again, pretty good call here into this coverage here. Here, where Addison is in the middle of the field, and up top is probably where this ball should hit. Kenny's going to have some more room down to the field here. But Addison does a pretty good job here just feeling it. Okay, he avoids collision from this corner. Corner's not making a great attempt to collide with him or collision him down the field, but you'll see now how Addison just kind of redirects himself back inside, and then he's just going to jam on the brakes. Does a pretty good job in his route here. I mean, he's wide open. This is where the ball should be going here, and you'll see Kenny gets rid of it pretty quick, obviously too quick. He sees this corner kind of sitting with Jordan Addison, so he comes off immediately and throws right to the flat. But Pickett definitely has more time here, and you're going to see it come open here. Obviously, there's that throwing lane right there that we want to hit it. And you'll see the offensive coordinator down here, Whipple. He's pointing to Jordan Addison. He's telling Kenny Pickett that's where the ball should have been. Let's watch his break here. Again, does a nice job of avoiding the defender. When you have a zone type of coverage right here, your routes don't necessarily have to be perfect and precise. We're kind of running more to a spot as opposed to like man coverage where we really have to work on separating. But Addison sees that he has this big window here. He gets his head turned to the quarterback, which ultimately gets his body turned. Okay, but he's open in that spot there, and he has a lot of room to run. You're not going to see Jordan Addison floating open that often, but missed opportunity for Pitt there because that could have been a nice chunk of yards on first down. All right, so let's look here. He gets a catch on this play. They go empty formation. Some teams will adjust here in empty, and they'll go a cover zero look, and they'll bring some pressure. You'll see Clemson will do that at a different point in this game. They're just sitting back here in a cover one. It's almost like they have a bracket here with this safety. You could see he's kind of looking to the three-man side with this safety up top by the Panther logo. They're just running some sort of levels concept. Got a little bit deeper of a dig by the tight end, and then the outside two guys just have shallows, we'll call them. And they're running a smash concept down here to the boundary. Man. Pickett has a touchdown right down here if he sees it early enough. Right over top of that safety. Makes a safe decision here. Nice job by Addison staying flat, working back to the football. Okay, we're going to talk about this often. It's first down. Okay, you don't need... You just need to be productive on first down. Give yourself second and medium. But Addison does a really nice job here of staying friendly with that quarterback. Okay, works himself into a catch, away from two defenders. Tries to make a play. It's a nice 4 or 5 yard gain on first down. Can't ask for much more than that. All right, so you'll see down here, same concept. Clemson does come down now into a zero coverage. And cover zero, we'll talk about it real quick, just means manned up, man, man, and there's no one in the middle of the field here. Okay, no one into the middle of the field here. So Clemson's going to play something they call a catch technique. And the idea is if they would run cover zero and blitz, okay, which they show blitz, they end up pulling back out. They try to trick Kenny here, but they show blitz on this cover zero. And Clemson's just going to play a catch technique. And the reason they play that catch is they should just sit right around 5 or 6 yards, and they are just going to do their best to collision the guy that they're supposed to be covering. And the reason for that is they're in hopes that that blitz is going to get home and that blitz is going to get to Pickett before he could get that ball off. So when they stand there and just collision those receivers, okay, they don't have much room to run any type of route there. And again, Kenny's going to try to look, and why they do try to trick him here, they're going to drop a guy out into coverage here. They're going to drop another guy out into coverage here and kind of just sit in this hole. Again, if a quarterback sees cover zero like that and he sees this blitz, he's going to try to get the ball out quick. And they run that same concept we talk about with that levels concept. So they're going to have this tight end is going to run a dig, and then they got two shallows back here underneath. So Clemson kind of baits Pickett into trying to make a quick read. They're going to try to bait him and try to make an interception off of it and get a freebie. But Pickett does a really nice job here of just maintaining his composure. And look at this window here. You're going to see the tight end now is going to come open. There's a nice window right in there. And like I said, Clemson tries to bait him. Pickett does a better job getting upfield. They end up fumbling. But it was a nice job by Clemson, like I said, disguising. You could see him check to zero. These guys, big guys, just bail out, just looking for a free interception here. Got a couple guys just kind of slow playing it rather than blitzing. Nice window in there. Hold on to the football, and they got a nice positive play out of it. All right, here we go. We got tight formation, still 2 by 2. Clemson again, kind of working that weird cover 3 that we talked about. Getting really deep. They don't want to get beat deep over top. Kind of running a post-dig combination here. So the idea is to stress this cover 3. This guy's just working to a post to hold that safety. And Jordan Addison's just going to work underneath on a dig. So it's almost a high-low on that safety. Over here, they're just going to run like an out type deal up top just to hold that corner over there and work the middle of the field. You'll see it's kind of a smash. You got Addison right in the middle of the field. All right, this is what I like how Jordan Addison works is. Watch how crafty this is here. So he's going to work this dig, okay? Does a nice job of avoiding this overhang defender and does an even better job of wrapping this defender to just find that open window. I know we talked about before how Addison could have sat down earlier in this game in a window there that Pickett had available to throw. So you're going to see him find the window here. Again, he's going to stem slightly out. So initially, he's working off of this corner. So whenever he stems out there, he's working off of this corner, and that stem out is just to provide him a little bit more room to work back inside. So when he forces this corner wide like this, he's going to have 2 window options. You're going to see a window kind of in here, and then there's going to be a window more in the middle of the field on the dig. And all he's doing is providing himself space and giving himself room versus this defense. But you're going to see this overhang defender here. He's going to start flying out and try to get hands on Addison. Doesn't do a great job of doing it. So all Addison does here is tuck right back inside. He realizes he's not going to be able to get outside of that guy without eliminating himself from this concept. So he gets a foot in the ground and gets his hips square. Now he could push vertical. Okay, so now you're going to see he has his eyes inside. He knows where he's going to work to here. All right, knows where he's going to work to. And he's putting this guy in a bind here. All right, putting this defender in a bind. His eyes are back to the quarterback. Like I said, we got kind of a clear out here to hold this safety. You're just going to see Addison just creep and find this nice little window in right behind this defender. Does a good job of getting his head turned. He's working flat. Drifts a little bit. It's not the end of the world in this situation. I'd like to see him say just a little bit flatter just to make it a little bit shorter of a throw for Pickett. Puts in a nice spot. Now, this is what I really like that Addison does. We talked about how his lack of size could hurt him. Look how far outside of his frame this ball is. He does a great job of getting his hands out, making a nice catch, and then getting his feet in the ground and bursting upfield for an extra 10 yards there. It's a nice concept here. Pickett does a nice job of finding the open guy. Like I said, Addison does a really nice job of working into this window. Look, extension outside of the frame. Eyes right in line with that football. I say all the time, catch the ball with your eyes. Okay, if you don't see that ball the whole way into your hands, probably not going to make the catch. So he does a nice job looking at the whole way in. Again, it's an outside of your body catch. This is what NFL scouts are going to want to see. Another thing that I really like, and we'll talk about this, one of the myths is you got to catch with your fingertips. I don't understand that concept, but you'll see how he gets his whole hand on the football. Both hands on that football. Okay, the whole hand. He uses his whole hand to catch it. Why just use your fingertips where you have, 10 little individual spots there? Catch the ball with your whole hand. Does a really, really nice job. And like I said, his head's already turned upfield. As soon as he secures that catch, his head's turned upfield, and that's where he can be really dangerous after the catch. Nice job all around there by Pitt. On to the next play. All right, double move here. We got a cat corner. All that means is this guy's going to blitz. And they're still working to their cover 3. So they got this corner blitzing off the edge. This guy's going to work now on this third. They got the deep safety in the middle of the field working this third. This guy's over here. So it's your cover 3 with a corner blitz to the boundary there. Throw's probably down here, but obviously they have a called double move in. Maybe they're thinking man. Clemson, again, doing a nice job disguising it. One thing I like that Addison's trying to do is he's trying to work into this guy's blind spot here. So you're going to see him just try to get lost, okay? So he's going to work upfield at first to his technique. And then all you're going to see is he's going to put his left foot in the ground and just kind of drift a little bit. I don't want to say he's going to drift. He's kind of just redirecting his angle, and he's going to try to get into this guy's blind spot. So you'll see how he turns his hips here. When his hips are turned, one thing that some of these crafty receivers are trying to do here is to get into the defender's blind spot here. So if his hips are turned towards the inside, if you could work right outside of his hip here, right off of his butt, you could get into his blind spot to where he can't see you, and now you're available to run all different kind of routes here. You know, you could put on the brakes and run a comeback. You could just run a stop route. You could try to run by them. In this case, they're trying to hit a double move. Okay, he sells it. Does a really good job of re-accelerating. You see how quick he gets in and out of that break here. Just drops his hips. Again, he trying to get this Clemson defender just to stop just enough so he can work around him. Ball's just a little bit out of reach. But I do think him getting even with that guy, he gave himself a shot to make a play. Again, it's not perfect into this coverage because this guy's taught just get to that third. And the Clemson defender does do a pretty good job of not getting sold on that double move, but just something I wanted to talk about getting into that blind spot. Again, Clemson getting beat on this. And we just talked about this. They run this levels concept. If it works once, why not try it again? They go empty. Clemson rolls down into a cover zero. They're going to show blitz. And again, they're going to just try to bait Pickett. And this guy was up for the Heisman for a reason. They run the exact same concept. They got the dig with the tight end. 2 shallow routes up top. They got the smash concept down here. Pickett literally picks the exact same window that he beat him on last time. First down. I will say, if you're a defensive guy watching this, I know that this is the idea that you want. You want this, it's exactly what you want, right? You're showing cover zero, you're showing blitz, you're trying to get a quarterback to panic and throw something quick underneath. These guys here, okay, 8, 47, 32, 9, okay, these guys down here, they play on the line of scrimmage for a reason. They're not the most aware of where this football is going. You could see number 8 here. Watch how slow he is to react. Again, this defensive coordinators that might be listening to this, you're putting a lot of trust in this number 8 here and number 32, these big guys here, to have ball skills that they don't have. Pickett's loving this right here. Look how easy this is for him. It's stealing. You're better off heating them up, bringing the blitz, and make one of the receivers beat you into that catch technique. There they go. They finally got him. Same exact thing. Pitt went to the well one too many times here. Ball should have been outside now. All right, this is actually something we could talk about here with Jordan Addison. So you know we got the cover zero. It's the same exact concept. So they have these levels, all right, that Pickett's now hit twice. So they got the dig up here. They're going to have 2 shallows out here. Now, one thing that I would like to see Addison do here, and I don't know what the rules are with Pitt. I don't know what rules they have set in here. But if they see this cover zero like this, all right, when Addison turns his head and he looks and he sees this guy inside, and the general idea is if you're in man, you keep moving. That's kind of the idea that you want. If you're in man, you don't want to just be a sitting duck because this guy over top you is going to break. But I'd like to see him have a little bit more feel here to where he just sits right on that hash. Okay, and I understand that's might be the rules that Pitt has, but if he could sit right off of this break rather than working back inside, it's a really easy throw for Pickett. And it's an easy 6-yard gain for Addison. Now, the ball should have been thrown up top. Again, Pickett has won twice on this dig route by this tight end. But like I said, if Addison could just sit right out here on this hash, this guy could sit right up here. Pickett has 2 windows to make this throw. Okay, and the Clemson defenders, I think, are far off enough to where they shouldn't be a factor here. The only real factor here is this middle rat defender, if you want to call him that, where he's just waiting for Pickett to make that decision. But like I said, it should be a pretty easy throw. Addison's kind of just working to get covered there. Pickett ends up throwing the ball away. So it's one thing I would like to see Addison do just a little bit better. Just, have a little bit more feel for finding windows, because he does have some missed opportunities in here by, drifting or not sitting down a window that I think he could. All right, here we go. Next play. Pitt's going to run this over type formation. Okay, and one thing that Clemson doesn't do a great job adjusting to. So if you look at the line, okay, this guy right here is a tackle. Okay, so you got 1, 2, 3 guys up top. You got your center. You got your other guy down here. Okay, here's your 5 linemen, right? Pitt runs this offset formation here, and they put this tight end on the line of scrimmage here. This receiver is off the ball. Okay, so that makes this guy eligible up top. Okay, right here on the line of scrimmage, the end line of scrimmage here. He's eligible now to go out for a route, as is this guy. They're going to bring Addison in motion across the field. Okay, this guy's on the line of scrimmage up top. He's eligible up top. So this tackle right here is ineligible. All right, Clemson doesn't really do a good job of identifying that. So when Addison comes into motion here, they have 3 eligible receivers here. So Addison will line up here. They got 3 eligible receivers here. And they have a perfect number here to win. All right, so they got 3 Clemson defenders here for the 3 guys down here, which is ideal for Pitt, because look how many guys are at the top of the field for 1 guy that's eligible. All right, and you're going to see they're going to run a little route where they clear guys out, and Addison kind of just gets lost here. All right, so we have this outside guy. He's just running this corner off, and Clemson, again, they're in that weird kind of like Tampa 2, 3 cloud on both sides look. I don't even know really what I want to call it. But when this guy outside runs off, tight end is just running to the flat here to grab this guy's attention. All right, so now this number 11, he's going to take up this defender, and he's going to clear out this defender too. And all Addison's going to do is kind of savvy work his way into this window here. And you're going to see him kind of find himself wide open. Again, outside guy, he's running kind of a dig, a clear out type of route to grab that corner's attention. They got this linebacker sitting on the tight end in the flat. No one's on the 2021 Biletnikoff Winner. Just running free right down the sideline. Pickett finds him in that window for a big hit. Okay, nice job making that catch on collision. Okay, again, nice job outside of his frame with his hands, eyes right onto that football. Takes the hit, holds on. Got a big first down for Pitt. Again, this is one thing that Pitt does a really nice job. Mark Whipple with that offense. They do some things to take advantage of Clemson here. And you'll see, too, now that I catch it, watch Pickett just roll slightly to the right. He keeps his eyes over to the right, and that's just going to hold that middle safety, and then works his way the whole way back across the field. Again, it's a great play design, and it's a great job by Pitt identifying what Clemson's going to do in that situation and figuring out a way to beat it. Very next play, Jordan Addison in for 6. This is first touchdown of the game, only touchdown of the game. It's just a simple smash concept. They go 3 by 1, so they got a tight end down here. Ball's on the left hash, so they got the trips to the field side. A lot of space over here. Okay, and Clemson's just running man coverage. All right, Clemson's running man coverage here. And I don't know if this is a blown coverage, but let's just draw it here. They got corner. They got this overhang on the slot. Now, it looks like they try to bracket this. Okay, this guy has outside leverage on Addison. This guy's turned and he's looking right at him. Okay, so it looks like they're going to try to bracket him in here. Okay, now when that happens, all right, all this Clemson DB has to do is maintain his outside leverage. All this guy on the inside has to do is work off of Addison's inside hip. They got him in a bracket here, and it makes it really challenging to do anything in man coverage, but it seems like double coverage. Now, what happens to this guy here? I'm not too sure if it was a bust. I don't know what he was really looking at, but you'll see. So Addison's going to take an outside stem initially. Okay, he's going to take an outside stem. And you're going to see Clemson defender here. He's just going to shuffle outside. He does a nice job of not giving up that outside leverage. Now, when Jordan realizes he's not going to be able to get wide on him, he's not going to be able to beat him outside on a release, he gets a foot in the ground and takes the inside release. Again, no clue what this other guy's looking at. I'm thinking bracket coverage here. Now Addison's just going to take off to that corner and just be a faster athlete than number 24. Okay, 24's reaching for him. I'm going to show you how he messes up here. Slight roll to the right by Pickett. He knows where he's going with the ball. It's a perfectly placed football, but 24, again, looking back to the quarterback already. He doesn't have Addison covered yet, but he's looking back for that football. When your head's turned like that, you're not able to sprint as fast as you can to that football. All right, Addison's already going to be a little bit faster. If this guy gets his head back to Addison and gets back in phase first, I think he has a better opportunity to make this play. I don't know if he makes the play, but he has a better opportunity. Still going to try to play through the hands. Again, look at Addison's hand placement on the football. Eyes right to that ball. Easy 6 for Pitt. I'm not sure if it was a blown coverage. I have no clue. You could see the safety down here. If you look at the bottom of the screen, you see his head turned. He's looking right at Addison. Okay, but regardless, does a really nice job of working himself open just by taking the easiest release. Okay, he just takes that easiest release. Let's watch it again one more time. Slight stem outside, and then he just takes that easy release inside because he knows he can win. All right, on to the next play. All right, Clemson goes Pitt goes 3-by-1 here. Okay, trips to the field, ball's on the right middle. It's cover 1. We'll call it 1 robber. Okay, we talked about robber before. This guy's just kind of working into this hole here. Got safety over top, and then we've just matched up across the board. All right, now, if I'm an inside defender here, if I'm one of these two here, okay, one of these two guys, I know my help is to the middle of the field. All right, so what these guys are most likely taught, okay, is to funnel these guys into this coverage. All right, so they have the safety over the top. They have the robber defender here. Play outside leverage, and you'll see he's outside here. Not too sure what he's doing down here, but try to funnel these guys to the middle of the field because that's where your help is. On the outside, you're going to play inside leverage, and now you're pretty much on an island there, pretty much all alone. Now, if that is the case, so it doesn't look like they're playing outside leverage here. They're funneling here, but not necessarily down here on Addison. So you got one-on-one Addison on that same number 24 that he beat prior on that touchdown. So let's say he does have inside leverage here, okay? Let's say, and I'm just watching the way his hips are turning, that he might have inside leverage. Number one, he doesn't have great position. Okay, he doesn't have great position already. Addison's already on top of his leverage. His hips are already turning. All right, so he's in trouble from the jump. Now, all Addison's going to do here is take a slight weave step inside. He's just going to try to weave him like he's going to run a post across the middle of the field. When he takes that step, watch how Clemson's defender flips his hips. This is a touchdown here. If Kenny recognizes this, All right, and he has 6-man protection. Okay, running back does a nice job of picking up that blitz. But if Kenny realizes this and just works his matchup, this is a touchdown right here. Look at the separation. Just by taking that little stab inside, just by threatening that he's going to run inside, plants that foot and bounces right back around him, gets that guy's hips turned. This is 6. Some of the old school coaches say, hit your head off the goalpost. This is a touchdown. He ends up taking the inside tight end there, number 5. I'm sorry, not the tight end. Inside the slot there. He ends up getting pass interference, so still a productive play. But if Kenny sees this matchup pre-snap and understands that it's cover 1, that's a touchdown. It's a really nice job, Addison, just using his speed. If you give this guy space, it's really tough to cover him. He has a lot of space to work there. Stabs inside, hips fly. Should have been 6. All right, let's look at this. It's not necessarily going to be focused on Addison here, but tight 2x2. Pitt came to this a lot. Man. So, I don't know if we have a coverage bust here. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be a cover 4. Or maybe even cover 6. But let's say it's cover 4. I mean, to me it looks like man, but the only reason I'm going to say cover 4 is just because I'm not sure what this safety is doing. But Pitt's been running a smash concept all game. Right? And again, they're trying to get a high-low onto this corner here. So all game, they've been running something here to the flat. They've been running a corner over top, okay, to stress those defenders, widen them out, and like I said, work into this void here. Now, all they do is work back inside, and I feel like this guy here, the safety, gets lost. Again, he's looking back to the quarterback, so if it is man, he's in a lot of trouble. All right, and cover 4, sometimes he's in a cover 4, it could turn into man, and it kind of depends on what this number 2 receiver is going to do. So typically, if it is cover 4, let's say, if this receiver runs past around a 5 to 6 yard area, let's just say he runs straight, okay, for 5 to 6 yards, it turns into man. All right, so now this safety over top here, over top of this number 2 receiver inside, basically has him one-on-one. The guy on the outside would have Addison one-on-one. All right, that's typically the rules in this type of coverage. All right. Now, the same thing will apply down to the bottom of the field. Okay, same thing will apply to the bottom of the field. If this number 2 runs vertical here, it becomes locked up man on man, okay, with this guy. Now, Pitt's going to do a nice job of taking advantage of that. So, again, like I said, let's just assume that it might be cover 4 here. He's going to run a dig here. Now, if he doesn't push vertical, okay, if this is cover 4 and he doesn't push vertical and it doesn't turn into man, this guy basically now will have this zone half of the field. Okay, it's almost like it will turn into kind of a cover 2 look. All right? Same thing up top. If this guy doesn't push vertical, okay, this guy pretty much has half of the field in this area. So, because this guy pushes vertical and because it turns into man, he runs this dig, it holds this guy down. So there's no help back here anymore. Okay, there's no help to this side of the field. So all Pitt's going to do, all right, they're going to hold these guys here. Rather than running to the flat and running to the corner here, turns into man, and all he does is break off this route on a post and run to where this big open void is in this defense. You'll see 24 is chasing 5. This guy, no clue what he's doing. This is his guy right here. That's a touchdown. All right, again, this could be something that Whipple, the offensive coordinator at Pitt, saw Clemson line up to. Okay, when they go tight like this, tight 2x2, he could have just saw that this is Clemson's adjustment to that. And again, they've been running those smash concepts a lot throughout the game. We saw it a couple different times. But now they're going to make it look like smash. And instead of running that corner, number 11, I think that's Mack, goes right across the middle on a post. Easy for Kenny Pickett. Touchdown Pitt. They end up winning the game 27-17. Pitt's offense last year was really good. Jordan Addison, obviously a huge key to that. You saw him make a couple plays here against Clemson. And like I said before, he's going to be one of the top guys in 2023. We'll come back to Addison. I do want to get a couple games from him at USC. I'm excited to see the progress he makes, but obviously he's a gamer. He's going to be one of the top guys coming out, and I'm excited to see his progress. All right, we'll see you guys next time.